My name's Lily Matthews. I'm 28 years old. And until 6 months ago, everyone thought I was dead. At least that's what my grandmother, Rose, one of the richest women in town, believed for 2 decades. All because of my mother's lies. I grew up in an orphanage on the outskirts of the city, convinced my parents had died in a car accident when I was 8. The only thing I had from them was a worn photo of me with my parents at a park. I kept it hidden under my pillow like a secret treasure. Claire, the orphanage director, always seemed to have a soft spot for me. Looking back, I understand why. "You're a very special girl, Lily," she'd say, brushing my hair gently. "One day, you'll understand just how special." I did well in school, earned a scholarship to medical school, and graduated with honors. I started my residency at Central Hospital in pediatrics. Life was finally on track until everything changed. It was a rainy Tuesday when they rushed an elegant older woman into the ER. Rose Matthews, 85, heart failure. Her last name rang a bell, but I didn't think much of it. As I checked her vitals, she looked me straight in the eyes. "You look so much like me, Blair," she whispered. "Excuse me, my daughter Blair, when she was young, had your same eyes." Before I could say anything, a nurse called out, "Dr. Matthews, we need you in room 3. The woman flinched at my last name. "Matthews? Your last name is Matthews." "Yes, ma'am. Lily Matthews." Rose sat up, her eyes bright despite her frailty. "How old are you, child?" 28. The heart monitor beeped faster. "And your parents died in a car accident when you were 8. Rose's hand trembled on her chest. Claire's voice came quietly nearby. "I need to talk to you. Claire from St. Lucas Orphanage." I was stunned she knew Claire, but the emergency called me away. "We'll talk later, Mrs. Matthews. Please rest." That night, after my shift, Claire showed up at the hospital. I hadn't seen her in years, but she hadn't changed. Same silver hair, same kind eyes. "Lily's dear." She hugged me tight. "It's time you knew the truth." We sat in the nearly empty hospital cafeteria. Claire pulled a yellowed envelope from her bag. "Your mother didn't die in an accident," she said softly. "Your mother is Blair Matthews, Rose's daughter, and she's alive." My world stopped. Claire kept talking as I tried to absorb it all. "Blair brought you to the orphanage 20 years ago. She made me swear never to reveal your identity. She lied to her mother, your grandmother, Rose, telling her you died in a crash." "Why? Why would she do that?" Claire showed me documents. "Money, of course. Rose put most of her fortune in a trust for you. Blair could only get her hands on it if you didn't exist." Among the papers were photos. Me as a baby in the arms of a poised woman I recognized from society magazines. Blair Matthews, my mother. Another showed Rose at a Christmas party. A family I never knew I had. "My grandmother hired detectives for years," Claire said. "Blair planned everything carefully. She forged death certificates, invented a story about an overseas accident, even held a funeral with a coffin. Your father, Daniel, opposed it. He threatened to expose her. A week later, he had a car accident. The only real one. The horror hit me like a cold wave. My mother hadn't just abandoned me. She killed my father to keep her secret." "Why tell me now?" I asked. "Because your grandmother is dying, Lily, and she just changed her will." Blair had spent millions over the years, confident she'd inherit everything. But Rose had her doubts. Claire pulled out one last document, Rose's new will. She left specific instructions. If her granddaughter Lily is alive, she inherits everything. If not, it all goes to charity. Blair gets nothing. How will they prove it's really me? A DNA test, of course. Claire pulled a small box from her bag. Inside was a gold locket engraved, "For my little Lily with all my love." Grandma Rose gave it to me the day I was born. Blair took it when she left me at the orphanage, but I kept it all these years. Tears streamed down my face as memories flooded back. A big house, the smell of fresh cookies, an older woman singing lullabies. Your grandmother never stopped looking for you, Claire said softly. Every year on your birthday, she sent flowers to the cemetery where she thought you were buried and donated big sums to orphanages, hoping somehow it would reach you. What now? I asked. Now your grandmother wants to see you. But we have to be careful. Blair has a lot to lose, and she's already shown how far she'll go to protect herself. The next few days were a whirlwind. Claire helped me arrange a secret meeting with Rose in her hospital room. To avoid suspicion, I introduced myself as her night shift doctor. The first time I entered that room as her granddaughter, Rose was awake, sitting tall with a dignity illness couldn't touch. "My little Lily," she whispered, arms open. "I always knew you were alive. A grandmother just knows." We looked through old photos on her iPad. My first day of school, birthday parties, beach trips. "Your mother changed after she met Jack," Rose explained. "That man was a fortune hunter who convinced her she deserved more than you. He controlled her by putting your trust fund first." Rose said my mother had been loving until then. But Jack planted greed and resentment. "The day you supposedly died," Blair acted heartbroken. She was convincing. But I saw something in her eyes. A shadow that didn't belong to a grieving mother. While we talked, Rose pressed a button. Andrea Thornton, her lawyer, appeared from the next room. "It's time to secure your future," Lily Rose said. "I don't have much time left." Andrea laid out papers. "We already have the DNA results," she said. "Positive, of course. Now we need to build your case. Records from the orphanage, your education, everything to prove who you are." "Blair has powerful friends," Rose warned. "She'll try to discredit you." As I signed the papers, the door burst open. Blair. The color drained from her face. Her eyes darted from the locket around my neck to the documents on the table. "This is ridiculous," she spat. "My daughter is dead. How much are they paying you for this lie? How much did you pay Claire to keep me hidden?" I surprised myself with how calm I sounded. "I don't know what you're talking about, Mom." Blair stepped back as if I'd struck her. "This imposter is trying to." Rose interrupted. "The game is over. We have DNA proof, orphanage records. Even Claire's signed confession. Claire, the meddling old woman, was still alive. Her slip-up gave everything away." Blair realized too late she'd lost. "So, if you know her," I said softly. "How much did you pay her every month for 20 years to keep your secret?" Blair slumped into a chair, her mask cracking. "You don't understand," she murmured. "Jack said it was the only way. The trust was too much money to leave to a child. And that's why you killed Dad." The question hit her like a whip. Her eyes widened in panic. "No, I don't know what you're talking about." Andrea pulled another paper from her briefcase. "We have the mechanic's confession. He sabotaged Daniel's brakes. He was very clear about who paid him and why." Blair jumped up, losing it completely. "They're lying. Everyone's lying." She grabbed her phone, shaking. "Jack, get to the hospital. We have a problem." Rose pressed another button. 2 police officers entered. Blair Matthews, one said, "You're under arrest for the murder of Daniel Reynolds and conspiracy to commit fraud." My mother's arrest was just the beginning. In the weeks that followed, the story blew up in the media. Headlines screamed, "Heiress faked daughter's death to snatch family fortune." Reporters camped out at the hospital and the orphanage, hunting every detail. Jack tried to flee the country, but was caught at the airport. In his briefcase, they found $2 million in cash and forged documents. Under police pressure, Jack didn't take long to turn on Blair, spilling every detail of the scheme. It was her idea, he admitted in court. She promised we'd split the fortune if I helped her get rid of the girl. The murder of Daniel wasn't planned, but he threatened to ruin everything. My mother stayed silent in prison. She refused to see me when I came to visit. Rose recovered enough to leave the hospital, and I brought her to live with me in her mansion. Together, we began to reclaim the 20 years that were stolen from me, one small step at a time. One afternoon, while we were flipping through old photo albums, we stumbled on a diary my father had hidden away. In it, he wrote about his growing suspicions of Blair and Jack's scheme. "My dear Lily," his final entry read, "If you're reading this, know that I fought for you until the very end. Your mother wasn't always this way. Money and ambition changed her, but you were deeply loved." A month later, the will was read aloud. Blair was brought from prison in handcuffs, wearing an orange jumpsuit that was worlds apart from her designer clothes of the past. Attorney Andrea Thornton began, "I, Rose Matthews of sound mind and body, declare this my last will and testament." The terms were crystal clear. I inherited 80% of the family fortune worth more than $200 million. The other 20% was donated to charities, including a new foundation dedicated to helping orphan children. Blair got nothing. "It's your fault," she screamed at me afterward. "If you'd stayed dead, we'd all be better off." Her words stung, but they only confirmed I'd made the right choices. The next few months changed everything. I left my hospital job to run the foundation Rose had started. The Second Home project quickly became my passion, working to improve conditions in orphanages and give abandoned kids a real chance. Claire joined the foundation as the lead advisor. Her years of experience were priceless. "Every child deserves to know they're loved," she'd say during meetings. "Sometimes the family you choose is stronger than the one you're born into." Though still physically fragile, Rose grew stronger in spirit. We spent many afternoons in her garden where she told me stories about the roses she'd cared for decades. "Every rose has its own story," she'd say. "Like people, some need extra care to bloom." A year after we reunited, we hosted a charity gala for the foundation. In my speech, I announced new college scholarships for orphans named in honor of my father. "Money can be a blessing or a curse," I told the crowd. "It all depends on how we choose to use it." Blair and Jack each received 25-year sentences for my father's murder. The trial uncovered even more crimes. They defrauded investors and laundered money through shell companies. One afternoon, I got a letter from Blair in prison. "Dear Lily, I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't deserve it. Ambition blinded me until I destroyed what mattered most, your love. Every night I dream about the morning I left you at the orphanage. You were crying, clutching your locket. 'Mommy, don't leave me,' you begged. I told myself it was for the best. How wrong I was. Asterisk. I kept the letter, but never replied. Some wounds take more than words to heal." Rose passed away peacefully 2 years after we reunited. In her final moments, she held my hand and whispered, "Love always finds its way back home." Now, 10 years later, the Second Home project has helped over 1,000 children find adoptive families or earn college degrees. At the entrance to our main office is a plaque that reads, "Every ending is a new beginning." The locket Rose gave me still hangs around my neck, a reminder that truth, no matter how deeply buried, always comes to light. Every year on my father's death anniversary, I plant a new rose in Rose's garden. That garden has become a symbol of hope and renewal. Just like our story, the fortune I inherited has grown through smart investments. But its real value isn't in dollars. It's in the lives we change. Sometimes when I visit the orphanage where I grew up, I meet kids who remind me of myself. I share my story, not as a fairy tale, but as proof that love and justice can win. The last rose I planted was white, symbolizing new beginnings. Next to it, I placed a small plaque with words Rose always said. "Fate may sometimes separate us, but love always finds us." Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, like the video and subscribe to our channel. This is Revenge Scales, where justice always finds its way. See you next time. Asterisk.